right, joining me now for another edition of Coach's Corner is head coach of the NAHL Knights, and that's Tom Kowal. And Coach, when we last saw you, we talked about the importance of getting 1 out of 2 at the very least in the opening round or opening 2 games of the playoffs in New Jersey. You guys did just that. Do you prefer, or is it better that they took Game 2 as opposed to Game 1, giving you kind of some positive momentum to bring back here at home for Game 3 tomorrow and 4, of course, on Saturday? Or which, I mean, obviously you would have preferred to win both, but does that winning that second game and really playing a solid game throughout give your guys that kind of positive boost heading into the next 2?
You know, I mean, Tim, it's, we're happy to come home with a split, but we're not excited. Right. You know what I mean? You never go into a playoff weekend, hoping for this. Or you always want to win 2 games, but I'm not really focused on if we were, really worried about winning Game 1 or Game 2. If you had to ask me that question last week, would I rather win 1 game? I just want to come home with wins. You know what I mean? It's, you could say if we won Saturday night, we would have rolled into Sunday and, had the momentum going. But we had to spend time on Sunday morning having a talk as a team and as a staff and going into the game with, we need to redeem ourselves, get the momentum back on. So, at the end of the day, we're 1-1. We have a best 2 out of 3 series. 2 of the games are at home. We're not counting our chickens before they hatch, but we're excited to be back at home. Hopefully we can get a good crowd out here, and with the guy, we had a great week of practice, and it's going to be a big weekend for us.
Now, with those 2 performances, obviously Game 2 being the better and being the win, what was the biggest shift from Game 1 to 2 overnight that you saw, after having that meeting in the morning?
Saturday we played Game 61 in the regular season, and New Jersey Titans played Game 1 in playoffs. They were diving in front of our shots to block any shots. No matter if it hit them in the head, the neck, the back, they didn't care. We were diving out of the way. We were playing like we don't want to get hurt before playoffs. So, the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 is just our attitude. We played New Jersey Titan game on Saturday. We felt as a team, as a staff, that on Sunday we played Knights hockey. When you put 2 great teams on the ice, Tim, there's not room for error. So if every little mistake is a momentum changer, could get you down 1-0, get down 2-0. It's every mistake is enhanced by 10 or magnified by 10, and so you got to play good, clean hockey. It's you got rid of the riffraff, and now it's the best 4 teams in our division that are playing to get to the Robertson Cup, and nobody goes into playoffs thinking I want to be done in a week. So we're happy where we're at right now, but we're not resting until we get 2 more wins.
Now, we talked about it very briefly towards the end of the regular season, I think right before that last win you guys had against the Titans, about how guys like Tomas Koblazek and Gabe Temple were kind of coming on strong, Jake Fuss. Those 3 really brought it. It looked to, to anyone who was watching the game on Sunday, they came out, they had a couple points apiece. Gabe had a power play goal, Fuss set up 2 goals, Koblazek was a big part of that as well, he had a goal. What kind of, I shouldn't say what kind of boost, because it's obviously a boost, but having that auxiliary scoring coming from guys who have been, tough, hard-working shift guys and eating minutes as big physical lines all year, now producing points as well, how much confidence does that give you, bringing it back home this weekend?
Well, I got to be honest with you, I was overruled in the Sunday meeting, on some lineup decisions, and assistant coach Josh Fusco and Andrew Whiteside pinned me down and told me, hey, we really feel strong about this. A couple lineup changes that I didn't have on my sheet at the time. So at the end of the day, thank God I let them have some input, because the changes they made, which I'm not going to make public, but were very beneficial for the Knights on Sunday afternoon. So. But at the end of the day, Tim, at the end of the day, it's kind of, we've been, as a staff, been poking at our veterans a little bit. It's, we're 1-1 in the playoffs right now, and our young guys are the ones that are doing the job. So if we can get Matt Kidney, Jack Olmstead, Curtis Carlson, Michael Morrissey, Reed Robinson, Tyrone Bronte even considered himself as moving up in that lineup. Once we get them on the board, I think, I like our chances even better. So if our young guys can just keep going, I'm very confident that our older guys are gonna, pick up the reins, and I think you're gonna see a lot of action, a lot of production from our veterans that have been in the league for a couple years, and they're playing their last junior playoff.
Right.
And we as a staff, we've had talks with them this week, and they're going to be better this weekend. And so if we can throw some young guys, keep playing the way they are, and the older guys step in, that'll benefit us because we can play 4 lines and tire New Jersey out.
And we've alluded to this as well in the past, but it seems, in both games, Jersey scored first on this past weekend. You guys came back in the Sunday game, as we've talked about, but again, I think Coach Fusco brought it up to you a couple weeks back when we talked about it, but when your team scores first, the win-loss record skyrockets on the winning side. And with both teams being pretty quick teams and fast teams, how big is that getting that first goal tomorrow afternoon here at home?
Obviously, if you can get the lead, I'm not going to turn that down. This week in practice, we as a staff, we were really tough on them the first part of practice. Usually I'd say get warmed up, we better be good the last 45 minutes. Well, this week as a staff, we really bared down, and right when the practice started, we wanted perfection. And because we, obviously, I think the stat is like 18-1 when we score first, and not a bad record when we score first. So, we've proven we can win. If we score first, we've proven we can win if we are down by 1 or 2. But at the end of the day, yes, I hope tomorrow night we get ahead 5-0, and we can roll in with a good game. But I know New Jersey, we kicked the tires last Sunday. I know they had a tough week of practice. We're expecting a very good New Jersey Titans team to come in here and put pressure on us right away and try and get the momentum back. But, I feel confident our guys had a good week, and, hopefully you'll be screaming in the microphone 1-0 Wilkes-Barre Knights tomorrow night.
Sure, absolutely. And lastly, you had your team dinner and end of the season awards this past week. You had some nice first-year players being included in those awards. Team MVP Jack Olmstead, rookie of the year, obviously, he's going to be first-year player with Tom Sparrow, Lancelot Award, Michael Morrissey. What kind of, just in terms of having that dinner and having that, just recognition of those players, do you feel that kind of just, one, brings them together? We see guys running around this morning, they have flyers hanging up all over the rink of Jack Olmstead and the Michigan logo and MVP underneath, but what kind of, do you think that helps the morale here, and just kind of boosting guys, again, recognizing their efforts all season long?
It's a tradition we do as a staff only. We don't vote, the kids don't vote, we pick it, and, this year was very tough. We're each year in the last 3 years, we've been getting better and better, and there were kudos to those guys in that locker room down there. Every category had 5 or 6 guys that we argued about, and I felt like a jury in the room, and we couldn't go home until we decided. So, all well deserving, like you said, Jack Olmstead MVP. Committed to Michigan. Boys loved to razz him, as you see. We had signs all over, but. What a great kid, what a great honor. Could have went to 3 or 4 different guys, but obviously Jack, got us started, and he's been consistently good all year. Thomas Farrell, you could argue he could be our MVP. He's backstopped our blue line, from day 1 this season, and had a great supporting staff, but he's really picked his game up, and has really been a great blue line guy for us. But obviously Michael Morrissey, a guy's been in this organization longer than I have. It's that's what we explained to him at dinner last night. And I don't even know if the Knights would be here if it wasn't for Michael Morrissey. So what a great guy, what a great honor to, he'd do anything for this team and any player on that team. And obviously Reed Robinson. Most improved. When you have a team of young guys, it's whatever who's hot this week kind of thing. But Reed has really stepped up his game, getting that commitment to Niagara this year. He was a guy that almost wore a letter for us. So very happy with the way Reed played this past season. But it's when you got a great bunch of guys that battle every day for you, Tim. Awards are so generic, but it's something you got to do. But I wish I could give out 23 awards to those guys.
Well, the Knights will continue their playoff march here tomorrow night at the Revolution Ice Center, 5 p.m. Eastern, and then that time will be 6 p.m. on Saturday for Game 4. Again, it's a best-of-5 series, so the Knights could potentially win. Game 5 would be back in New Jersey if needed. So, Coach, we thank you for a few minutes here after practice, and we wish you guys the best of luck this weekend.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Tim.